And we are live. Welcome to the GYST. That means when it comes to life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, sometimes we just need a moment to get your shit together. You just need that moment, and so do we. So welcome. I'm your host, Kay, and I got my co-host, Val, here, and we're waiting for our third co-host, but we're going to keep this thing moving. Stephanie will be joining us shortly. But we're going to keep this moving. What's up, Val?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You kind of lean into the side. I'm not sure. What's
Oh,
happening?
how's that?
Okay, that's better.
Wait, how's that? No,
Right.
it's crazy.
That's better. That is real. That is really better.
Didn't even realize I was doing it, but thanks for bringing that to my attention, girlfriend.
Right. And speaking of which, okay, that is what the conversation is about tonight. True girlfriends. How many of us have them? God, girlfriend, like really. Like I know you and I are friends and we've been girlfriends for a long, long time.
Yep.
But how small is our circle of girlfriends? Like we throw the term girlfriend around very loosely. But with true girlfriends comes true responsibility. Like that shit is real. It's real.
It is.
And, I don't think that sometimes we actually sit back and think about how serious it is to be a real girlfriend.
Well, you know what? You don't sit back and think about it because, for the people I have in my life that are true girlfriends, like you, and a couple other people that like my friends from college, like Mona and Linda, like those things just kind of happened organically. I didn't have to do, when I say not do anything, like we met and it just clicked. And then these are the people who've been in my life for 30 plus years now. I mean, yourself, we've been hanging around each other now for 20 years and we've gone through some things, like some good things, some bad things. We've been there for each other. So it just kind of happens organically. And I know for me, my circle is small because there's not a whole lot of people that I let in like that. And I remember prior to meeting you, I used to have kind of a running joke with my friends when I left college that I had all the friends I needed. Hey, Steph.
Hey,
I said,
Steph, how about you turn that phone?
Okay, but see, when I do it like this,
uh-huh.
I'm upside down.
Then you gotta twist your phone a little bit. So
Wow. So this is all live. Okay, great. This is all live.
look, now she upside down. This is what happens. I'm gonna need you to turn it one more time.
But then
All
I'm like,
live. Nope. Leave it there. Leave it there. Perfect. Leave it there.
Leave it right there because we're not gonna do that with you tonight. Okay.
Don't do another thing. Don't do another thing.
No. Okay. So
now I can't see you. It's so tiny.
no. Listen, everybody knows that everybody on this show is over 50. Okay, so it's okay if you need your glasses. It's okay.
They didn't help. The glass didn't help.
Right. So we've already started the conversation and talking about true girlfriends. How many of us have them? And and with true girlfriends come real responsibility. And I think we don't think about how strong that is, because when they're going through something, you're going through it too.
Oh yeah.
You're going through it too. And when I did the promo to ask people to join tonight's episode, I really was like, your girlfriend, she knows everything about you. You know everything about her, or mostly everything. There might be a couple things you haven't shared, and there's some things you'll take to your grave. But for the most part, they know you. They know your secrets. They know your triumphs. They know your failures. They know your challenges. They know. They just know your shit.
Right.
And so, with that, does that make our circle small?
I don't. So, okay, I'll just, a couple things. First, I have always been one to truly enjoy the company of the women who are in my life that I have adopted as sisters. You know, I have a biological sister who I'm very close to. Then I have a bunch of adopted sisters, you know. And I think it's so important to keep those relationships through boyfriends, through husbands, through all of that, because we need those women in our lives. Like at first, it's fun. We all just out having a good time. We're kids, you know.
Right.
And then as you get older, life happens.
Right.
You know, you lose parents, you lose spouses, all of it, you lose jobs, homes, ups and downs and crises, and you know, you need those women. So I think your friend pool can still be very large, but your inner circle, I think it should only be small, because really, you know, that's the most intimate part of you. And who are you really going to share this with? Like I have a friend now, I'm not going to go through the details. She and her family are going through a crisis right now, a real crisis.
Right.
And she has had to push even some family members kind of to the side because they're not being very helpful right now. And if you don't have those relationships built, you don't go and build it when something happens.
Right. But I think we throw the term, and that's why I keep saying we throw the term girlfriend around very loosely sometimes. Just because we have known somebody for a long time, or we've hung out, or we spent some time together. But if you really look at, you know, if you lined up 15, 20 women you know and have literally connected with and hung out with, you can literally pick out how many of them really know your intimate self. Your intimate self. That, you know, you have cried with, you have laughed with, you who knows the things that you've been through and have gone through them with you. So I agree that that inner circle is small, but yet we make it seem so large, or we have a need for it to seem so large. And you see that when you have things like weddings, which is a very personal thing, but you'll have 13 bridesmaids. And you're like, yeah.
I think Facebook has also corrupted what we call a friend, or who we call a friend.
I was going to say exactly that. You're right.
Yeah.
Like just social media in general. Like, okay, I've got almost 500 friends, but are these really, the majority of them, are they people I would call if there was something going on? Probably not.
No.
And right. So yeah, I think in general, like when you talk about how we use the term loosely, it's because over the years, social media has participated in that, where we just call everybody a friend. That everybody, probably a good portion of people in your life are probably more accurately described as acquaintances or just people I know.
People
They're
I
not
know. People
right.
I know.
They're not right. They're not
People I know.
friends. And it's not to say these aren't people who, you know, aren't interested in hearing that you're doing well, but are these the people that you call when, I mean, I think about the things I've gone through my life, like deaths and things like that. Like when stuff like that happened, like there's one or two people I thought to call. And Kay, you know, because you were the person I called when I had those deaths in my family. You were the person I called.
Right.
You were like the first person I called.
And listen, and I will say this. I think that if I ask the question for you to define what would you consider to be an actual true girlfriend? Not based on how long you've known somebody, but what's on your list of true girlfriends? What makes, if you think about the girlfriends you have, what makes them that true girlfriend? How do you determine that?
So I've got one, and it's, you know, I always wrap a joke around darn near everything, right? But I think for me, one of the qualifiers is she's that person who I do not have to say, don't tell nobody this girl. She knows.
Yeah, because if you gotta say that, she might not be the one for you to tell. Okay? If you have to start the sentence with, listen, don't tell nobody what I'm about to tell
Don't
you.
tell nobody.
She
Then
knows. I know that story. We taking this with us.
Because I think that's prompting people to say, ooh, this needs to be told. The minute you say,
Right.
Wait a
don't
minute.
tell
In
nobody
my
that.
time of crisis, I may forget to say, "Ooh, listen, don't tell nobody." You shouldn't know.
Not to tell
Right.
nobody.
I agree. What is on the qualifying? She said, don't tell nobody. On the qualifying, on your qualifying list, Val, what's like, what determines that for you? What in your mind says, you know what? That person right there is going to be or is one of my true girlfriends.
You know what one of the things is for me? It's we can be mad at each other and do some things and come out on the other side and still be cool. And that might in some ways sound trivial, like, ah, you can get mad at people and make up, no big deal. But the big deal, sometimes it's not so much the action, it's more, can I imagine my life without you? And if I
Right.
can't imagine my life without you, there's almost nothing you could do that would make us not be friends. And
Right.
that's for me, that's what it is. It's like, I can't imagine you not being around. Boy, you've gotten on my last damn nerve. You did this thing. I'm really pissed about it. I'm gonna tell you I'm pissed and I'm marinate about it. But there's just something like I can't imagine you not being here.
Right.
So that's one of the main things for me. And it's never been something I verbalized. But when I think about it, just when we were just kind of talking right now, just thinking about the people that I call my good friends and thinking about some of the things we've gone through. Because listen, there's some people I could check off the list real quick. Like you took the last French fry. I'm out.
What do you say? You took the last French fry. We are done.
We are
Done.
done.
Our friendship is over. And
Right.
listen, when it comes to French fries, that might be a deal breaker on our friendship. Okay.
But that depends on the, but I'm saying that means that there are some friendships that are really just like we said, they're acquaintances, they're people I know that there's not a whole lot holding it together. And it's probably some stuff you could do that I'm like, I'm out. But then there's other people that it's almost no matter what they do. It's like a sister. And I think we talked about a little earlier, Steph, you had mentioned about having a, your biological sister versus your friends.
Yeah.
What's interesting, or your friends that you consider sisters, but what's interesting for me is as I've gotten older, my sister Dion, I actually consider us friends, as
Yes.
opposed to like we're not just sisters, we're actually friends now.
Right.
And so I think it's even possible, like just because they're your biological sister doesn't mean it can't be your real, that
Friends.
person you call and talk about stuff. And that's not automatic just because somebody's your sister or somebody's your brother. They may not be the people you talk to, but over the years I consider me and Dion like real friends.
Yeah. And listen, and that's some real cool shit. That really is, because that's true. Your sisters can truly be your friends that you can rap with, you could tell whatever is happening with you and going on. Because I got two sisters, you both know. I got
Right.
two sisters, and that's real. And it's important that as sisters, while it doesn't always happen, it's important that you are friends. To
Mhm.
me, it's important that you are friends, because guess what? Anyone else can come and go, and you can choose whether you want them in your life or not. However, your family, your blood, your sisters, that you own that.
Right.
You
Right.
own that. They're yours. They're
Which means they
yours.
could take the last French fry. You might be mad.
Exactly. They're
Well, you
yours.
know the beauty
Or
of
you
that
can
is,
just give it to them. You can just give
oh
it to them.
no, but if it's my sister, take the last fry, I can clunk her in the head, and we still going ahead.
Exactly. But wait, but my qualifying thing is no judgment. That
Right.
to me, because people go through things. Listen, prime example, your girlfriend comes to you and she's telling you how horrible her man is and he's done did some shit, and you're just like, but she goes back to him. You can't, if you
Right.
don't judge her, you can have a conversation with her, you can talk to her, you can give her your opinion or your advice. But judging her, um, I just don't think a true friend, you can't judge them that way, because you have to support them. You don't have to agree with everything, but I do
Right.
believe you have to support them. because we don't always make the best decisions all the time.
No.
None of us do. None of us do. So
No.
I think for me, the bigger issue is, not judging. That to me, when I have a girlfriend who, in no judgment, like in my worst place, at my worst time or my lowest time, that you have no judgment. Listen, I'm all down for you. I am so down for you as a girlfriend. It's like, listen, because shit happens. Things happen.
Oh, things are
Right.
going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know?
You may not like her husband or her man, or you may not like you may not like how he's treating her and she's okay with it. And you like, there's a whole lot of things that come into play. But when that's your girl, that's your girl.
Right.
Right.
That's
The
it.
point is, right. It's about being supportive of people and their decisions. And like you said, if that's your girl, that's your girl, and you're not passing judgment. And as you said, one, they've already identified you as their friend, the fact that they came and told you what's happening in their
Right.
relationship. And so now if they make the decision to go back and now you decide to sit in judgment and talk about why they shouldn't do it, well, okay, one, it sounds like that relationship's a little one-sided, that somebody was thinking you were in their circle and you really weren't, because if you're passing judgment like that, you really aren't. So yeah, I agree that no judgment, and that's what a real friendship should be, judgment
Yes.
free zone.
So let me move the conversation towards, do you think it's harder for Black women um, in their friendships than any other friendship? Do you think Black women struggle in friendships, or is it harder for them in friendships?
I think just the opposite. I think it's easier. I think there
Really?
is a common bond that we have, and there is a inherent solidarity that we have. Like, and there's a connection. I don't even have to know you. We can be walking down the hall, and I can give you that look, and it says 1,000 words. We
Right,
had a
right,
whole
right.
conversation just with our eyes.
Exactly. And listen, I will tell you. So I'm working on a project at work, right? And so the team that's at the company, at the architecture firm that's working, there's a team of them. There's a Black woman who's at the helm of that team. And so we're bidding on this project. She's at the helm. So, um, you know, we're emailing back and forth, the team on my side and her team. And it was funny because the white guys that are on my team, they were emailing back and forth, but I never really said anything in the email until finally today. I respond to her and I say, oh my God, I just want to introduce myself. Now I'm on all the emails and she sees my name. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
listen, I wanted to just introduce myself, say hello. And at some point, if you want to have coffee, a drink, dinner, lunch, whatever it is, so we can, have an opportunity to chat, please let me know. She responds back and says, thanks so much, Kay. And then she puts, side note, I love your natural hair. Because in my signature line, I have my natural hair on the picture. Now, she has no idea I got, rocking a wig, but it was so cool for her to say, and she sent it
Right.
just to me. Although everybody else was on the email, she replied just back to me. And she was like, side note, I love your natural haircut. And I was like, you know what? That's what being a sister is all about. That
Right.
right there was just like, wow. I loved every minute of that. So you're right. You can walk by a Black woman and there's some connection that's automatically there. It's automatically there. But
It
some
doesn't matter where you were raised, what
right.
part of the country, what part
Right.
of the world you were raised. There's
Absolutely.
there are a series of shared experiences.
And I think more like, April, who responded on Facebook, and she was saying, I wish more women would have this conversation. It's so important. And it's
Mm-hmm.
true, because I think in some areas, we struggle with building relationships with Black women. It could be in business, it could be on a personal level, because I hear stories about working for Black women. And sometimes that can be challenging for people. So there are those areas in life where it's challenging to have a relationship with Black women. Have you ever worked for a Black woman?
I have, and it was challenging. I have, and I went through a period of time where it was just very difficult. The struggle was, for most of the time, it seemed like she thought I was interested in taking her job because I reported to her, and I wasn't. But that somehow was the perception she had. So it was real difficult for us to have, to really connect. So I mean, I agree with you, Steph, in that there's a lot of ways it's easy, and sometimes it's easier when we have those situations where you're not put in a situation where there's some sort of perceived competition. Um, but in, sometimes, like you talked about, in business, I worked for a black woman, and it was not fun. For a while it was not fun because we just kind of had this tension all the time. And yeah, no, I did not like that. And I thought it was unfortunate because I know that what she thought wasn't accurate, but we just had a hard time bridging that divide between us. It really was. We had a hard time bridging that. So we never became friends. We were certainly cordial. Um, she was even one of the 200 people at my wedding. Uh, but,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
But
Right.
again, it was difficult. So yeah, and that was just, it was not, and sometimes that difficulty, it may not be on both sides, but sometimes it's just hard to get the other person. And I know for me, that's what it was. Like there was just almost nothing I could do to bridge that. So at some point I just decided, okay. And I just didn't worry about it anymore because sometimes you just got to make your peace with it. But yeah,
Did,
that it was difficult.
but did you ever have a conversation that talked about the tension?
So no, I'll say no. Well, not I'll say no. The answer is no. And back then, and this was, feels like a million years ago, but back then, not really understanding the value of trying to fix that, it would be different for me now. I could right now that would be different for me. If I found my situation, I could see me sitting down having a conversation like, listen, let's go get a drink. Let's figure this out because this
Right.
is not working, and it's making, and you spend more time at work than you do at anything else. And what I don't want is coming to work feeling like it's tense. So let's go figure that out. But back then, I mean, this was back when I was, you know, in my 20s and 30s and not really understanding the value of that at the time. So no, I never sat down and tried to have a conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a different experience. I worked for an African American woman, and it was amazing. And
Wow.
she was the best manager I've ever had, and to this day, I measure every manager against her. And I've told
Really?
her, yes, I have told her that, and she and I are friends today. We have not worked together in years, and we're friends today.
Wow. Oh my God.
She was amazing. And I have told her, and she was shocked when I told her. She said, I didn't even know you felt that way. I said, yes, you are by far the best manager I ever had. And I measure every other manager against you.
Well, listen, I have to say, I have worked for a black woman, and I can't say whether it was bad. It was bad.
You were
Um,
trying to
Where she said, I can't say what.
it
Wait,
was
no,
bad.
it was
I
bad.
mean, it was bad. I think, um, but you have to know yourself too, and I think
Right,
sometimes I don't 100% blame it on that person because I think it takes two
right.
people to have a bad relationship or a good one. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, and I think that if truth be told, sometimes it's not just challenging working for um, a black woman. Sometimes it's challenging for that black woman to have someone reporting to her also. And I can't say I was easy
Right,
in that sense. I don't know whether I was easy or not, because I'm not a difficult person in that sense. I'm just a person that kind of floats it on her own terms and her own rules, and everybody's not okay with that.
right.
And when they're not okay with that, some people don't know what to do with that. And so if I looked at the relationship, I could say, yeah, it was a horrible relationship. But then I would have to take some responsibility in that too.
Absolutely. Right.
You know what I mean? I would definitely have to take some responsibility in that. Because again, relationships are a two-way street. Both people
Yeah.
are working on, either two different sides of the street, or they're in the
Right.
middle together. And
Absolutely.
it doesn't
And
always work that way.
I've had situations that, I mean, since that one, I've worked for, one or two other Black women that were very positive experience. So it wasn't that every one of my experiences was, but that one instance, which was my first one, which could have, formed my opinion about it, but it didn't. But that was the first Black woman I ever reported to, and it was not a good experience. So I'm glad that I subsequently had others that really were positive, but that one just wasn't.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, we can both look at it. I mean, like you said, you got to know yourself, and that's where communication comes in, and figuring out, okay, well, is there something I'm doing that's giving her that vibe, even though I know that's not what I'm trying to do, but is there something I'm doing that's giving her that vibe? I don't know. And like I said, back then I wasn't in a space where it ever occurred to me to try to iron that out, so to speak.
Now, have you ever had the situation where you had a true friend, but then you broke up, got divorced, and that friendship just never comes back?
Wait, what? Say that one more time.
That
Let me make
friendship,
sure I understand.
so you had a great friendship, and then something happens.
Oh, okay.
You get divorced, you break up, never comes back. But a true friend, how do you break up, or what would cause you to break up with a true friend, true girlfriend? What would be that deal breaker?
I think in those instances, honestly, you may have thought that it was a true friendship, but maybe it really wasn't.
Maybe it wasn't.
So something fractured it, and then it was just done.
And I think that could have been a true friendship, because nowhere is it written that true friendships last forever. They could be for a season, but during that time you were friends, that person met the qualifications, you met the qualifications that made you true friends, but then something happens.
I think more often as people drift apart, somebody
Yes.
moves, you start a new phase in your life you just lose contact. I think those situations, yeah, we were friends, and you wonder why. And I had an experience recently where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to her and see how she's doing. And I Googled her. This is so depressing. I don't mean to be a downer. I Googled her. She had died.
Yeah, you just downed us.
You
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And that qualifier didn't stop it. Didn't. Wow. Okay, that was.
And I was so excited.
She just wiped us out.
Okay, well,
I'm sorry.
You can't talk for the next 60 seconds, okay? You are not allowed to talk for the next 60 seconds. All right, look. But so just real quick, let's just talk about the one thing is when you get with your man and you forget about those girlfriends.
Don't do it.
She said, don't do it.
Don't do it, because the girlfriends sometimes last longer. They last longer.
They do. Do not. Listen, if you are listening and you don't hear anything else tonight, do not get rid of your girlfriends when you get your man.
Do not.
Keep them. I don't care what you do. Keep your girlfriends. Whether you get your husband, get your man, keep your girlfriends. Let your girls know, listen, I got this man, so we might not be able to do, 7 days a week or 6 days a week, but I got you on 3. I just want to make sure you still
And
there.
listen, real girlfriends know that too. No, you still on timeout. Real girlfriends Real girlfriends understand that because listen, we've all, prior to me being married, we've all dated and then broke up, dated, broke up, and you have your girlfriend. So everybody does that. So real girlfriends are not mad at you that you can't hang out with them every Friday and Saturday. But
Right.
you need to have some time that you do still get together with your girls. And maybe the things you do or the day you do it might be a little different depending on your schedules and what's going on. But real girlfriends understand that because they got it going on too.
You can talk now, Steph.
Go ahead, Steph.
Let's just not assume that all your girlfriends want your new boo. Because we don't.
Most of them don't. Okay.
We
And
don't.
listen, they're not sure why you wanted him. Okay. They're not sure why you
Hey,
wanted him.
no judgment. No judgment.
No judgment.
We ain't judging you wanting it. It's just like,
they're not sure why you decided to get his ass. But okay, no judgment. Guys,
No judgment.
on that note, okay, we are going to sign off of this episode of the podcast. Listen, those who are watching, ladies, gentlemen, listen, girlfriends are important. And if you have true girlfriends, treasure them, keep them, love up on them, support them, and forever, 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 they will be in your life. Cool. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The GYST. When it comes to life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, sometimes we just need a moment to get our shit together. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.